Want to go deeper with Lobbing Scorchers? You know, scratch under the surface, get down even dirtier than we already get? Become a YouTube member. Sometimes things just get a little too spicy, a little too weird, and a little too loose for the general public. And you know, the people to see that are YouTube members. We're talking about exclusive bonus videos, the podcast after show, exclusive written content, and little bits and pieces of information before the unwashed masses know about it. As a member, you not only get access to all of this amazing content, you get a badge next to your name and a slew of amazing emotes to use, not only in our live stream chat, but also in our comment section. And yes, we do have an emote for Jesus Ferreira, Ghost Snack, and Paul Rothrock. This is the best way to help keep us independent and keep us building out this crazy YouTube brand that we call Lobbing Scorchers. Hit the join button down below or hit the link in the top of our description if you're on mobile to join the ranks and become a Lobbing Scorchers YouTube member.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome into another episode of Lobbing Scorchers Kickoff. I'm Ari, that's Nico, and we have got another Seattle Sounders Leagues Cup win to talk about here this morning to start off the week. We're going to be breaking down this 2-1 victory last night at Lumen Field over Santos Laguna, which put Seattle at 6 points, a +8 goal differential, and number one on the Leagues Cup table out of either league. They are currently atop the entire 36 club Leagues Cup table in large part thanks to that 7-0 over Cruz Azul, which pumped that goal differential up. But Nico, let's get into it. How are you feeling here this morning?
Hey, what's going on, Ari? We are ready to rumble. It is early. It's a nice cloudy day, too, in the city of Seattle. I love that little brisk in the morning. Got my coffee in hand, man. So I feel really good, man. Obviously, a good result for Seattle. They grinded it out. You love to see it. And we're going to talk a little bit about why maybe they were not as effective or not as
explosive, clinical.
Maybe explosive. I was gonna say sharp, or why things didn't go as good as they perhaps have looked over the last 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, let's jump right into it. Before we get to all that, though, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, like the video. LobbingScorchers.com/sauce, LobbingScorchers.com/archive, SounderAtHeart.com/LS. All links you can go to support and grow the show. All right. Yeah, let's get your take on this Santos Laguna game, Nico. Obviously, coming off the 7-0 over Cruz Azul that made international headlines. They get another 3 points, this time only scoring 2 goals. Finishing the match with 10 men, which, you know, that's back in character for the Seattle Sounders. It had been a little too long since they got a guy sent off. So glad to see them back at it with that. But they do see out the 2-1 victory, even though they give up the goal while down a man at the very end. Nico, what did you think about how they started this game and getting the goal in the first half? Because for me, I was not expecting them to drop a 7 spot again. That's pretty rare that you see anything really above like 3 or 4 goals as a novelty. So I wasn't expecting that. But I did feel like the offense played well enough in terms of chance generation to hang at least 3 or 4 on these guys, and they end up settling for 2 and getting the win anyway. But what did you think of just kind of how they carried the momentum from the Cruz Azul game, and then obviously seeing out the result, even though they had to withstand Georgie's unfortunate ejection after he scored an awesome goal? We should note.
Yeah, I mean, look, I thought that the momentum component was there. I think that the team looked confident to start off. Clearly, several changes there to that lineup, which that's always going to not necessarily affect the totality of the game, but it's going to affect maybe the way that you get going, that you get started. specifically clearly having a new pivot. You and I talked about the importance of Danny Leyva, one who had a very good game, I thought. In the majority of the game, he was very poised on the ball. I thought that he put a lot of through balls, even defensively, something that we wanted to see from Danny Leyva. I thought he was very good, intercepting a couple of balls, anticipating some passes, closing down some passing lanes. I thought that he had a good game in this one, good showing by Danny Leyva. Paul Rothrock playing on the right. I thought that he did very good. He was probably the most engaged, the more incisive out of the two wingers. Pedro de la Vega, I thought had a difficult game, specifically in that first half. And I want to kind of provide the reason why I think not just Pedro, but a lot of what Seattle wanted to do didn't quite look as sharp and maybe not as fluid as it has in the past. And I think that Santos Laguna did a very good job at mudding the game, slowing it down, disrupting it with fouls. I mean, I think it had to be more than 22 fouls. At one point, I remember looking at the foul count for Santos, and it was at 22. Yeah, well, it was 22 overall. And it was really a game where whenever they saw Seattle start to connect and create a sequence of passes, they were hitting somebody hard. They were really pushing the limits of the refereeing. And not all were egregious, tough fouls, although some were. But I do think that was the game plan, right? They did not want Seattle to catch a rhythm. And I thought that was smart by Santos Laguna, a team that was clearly the underdog, clearly I mean, we don't say this a lot in the Liga MX, Liga MLS sort of games, but they were kind of the better team, the most talented team, the team that came with more fortitude. Santos Laguna has, as we said it in the preview, they were a poor team, and you know there's nothing wrong with that. You got to say it when that's what happens, and they were the lesser team, and I think they played that way. They tried to get a lot of numbers behind the ball. I thought that they were good defensively, although Seattle did have several opportunities, but I think that's what Pedro was a little bit ineffective at times. Anytime that he would try to get in a rhythm, there was one time where he gets fouled, the referee gives kind of the advantage, and he gets fouled again by the same player. I mean, it was very constant, very muddy, very CONCACAF-ish of them. They really did a good job at it. But I think that Seattle, for all things considered, the Paul Rothrock goal, right, is an own goal, but if the defender doesn't hit that ball, then Misowski is right there. So that's credit to Paul, who I think got in a lot of good positions. I love Paul Rothrock when it comes to Liga MX matchups because he has that anger, that character, that fire. I mean,
he was
talking down from nobody.
He was talking so much shit,
mess, man. And sometimes you need that, and that's why I love the Paul Rothrock element. But I thought that as a winger, he did a lot of good things. He wasn't perfect, and you know there were decisions that were a little bit too rushed. There were moments that maybe were not as on point as maybe he should have been, but all in all, I thought he was one of the better players on the field for the majority of the game until he was pulled off. And just to kind of conclude it, I thought that Seattle in the second half did get pushed back a little bit. I think the Santos kind of started adding more numbers forward, and Seattle, in their attempt to regain a little bit of control, maybe they dropped a little bit. And then the substitutions I thought were very good. I did want to see Pedro stay on just so we could figure out if he could get out of that funk and maybe create something on his own over 90 minutes, right? I continue to want to see 90 minutes of Pedro. So even when he's not having a brilliant game, at any moment he can give you something, right? He could spark it, he could shoot it, he could do something specific, just like he did in the Atlanta game where he didn't have a great first half, and then in the second he obviously gets a breakaway moment and he puts the ball in the back of the net. So I did want to see that, but I get what Brian made the substitution, and for all accounts, of course, it worked because Georgie comes in. He is a guy that we've been wanting to see get minutes. He's a great guy when it comes to being a spark plug guy off the bench, and he gets a fantastic goal, cut inside, you know, a boomer, and puts it in the back of the net. But then, unfortunately, he I think he's caught up in the moment, and
Yes.
you gotta give him a little bit of a break, right? He is coming off the bench, hasn't got a lot of minutes in quite some time, gets a banger of a goal, and forgets that Osase had just recently gotten a yellow for doing the exact same move,
last game. Yeah, the game before.
which is just putting the jersey over your head, which is silly. I mean, I get it. I understand it. I got a bunch of texts from people. My DMs were like blowing up. Like, is this really a thing? It is, right? I mean, if you just lift up your shirt, you're fine. But once that shirt goes over your head, then it becomes a yellow. So it's just a very unfortunate for Georgie, because kind of it eliminates the entire sequence and the fantastic goal that he had. But all in all, I thought Seattle did the job by holding on. And even when they give up that Christian Dahome goal that Nuhu kind of is late on, he doesn't check his hip, and Dahome gets a good goal that, I thought from the beginning was not offsides. I thought Seattle did well to just hold on to the lead, specifically with one less guy on the field.
Yeah, as far as the Georgie red card post banger, I mean, he meant no malice. Okay, he meant well. He was trying to communicate that Christ is king. I had it wrong last night. I was saying follower of Christ because that was actually the Freddie Montero. Freddie had follower of Christ. Georgie has Christ is king. He's trying to notify everyone that Christ is king. And he ended up doing, like you said, putting the jersey over the head, which Osase did against Cruz Azul and got a yellow for it. He was already on a yellow. So he, like you said, caught up in the moment, I think. Either forgot he had a red, didn't know the rule, whatever the case may be. He gets a red card in the 75th minute. So it was unfortunate that Seattle had to see out the game for that long a time when they're sitting on a 2-goal lead. That's like the number one way you can blow a 2-goal lead post 75 minutes is to get a guy sent off. And it's just like it's one of those ones where getting a guy sent off on a technicality like that is always tough to take. If someone say, just for the sake of hypotheticals, I'm not saying this would ever happen, but threw a ball into the stands and then flipped off the ref, you're like, okay, yeah. But this one, it's like, dude, it is a stupid rule. I said that on the post game live last night. I think that we as a collective society have advanced well past the point where jersey removal needs to be in auto yellow. I think it can be up to the ref's discretion if someone actually delays a restart for a really long time for any celebration, jersey removal or otherwise, then they can give a yellow as it comes. That situation, it's just like common sense to me. Like that doesn't need to be a yellow card. Like it doesn't. And it's a rule that I've long argued should be changed. I think any player should be allowed to just, if they want to take their jersey off after a goal, they should be allowed to do it. Like that's what's actually the reasoning. Is it sportsmanship? Is it time wasting? I don't know. But either way, though, that is a stipulation in the league's cup policy that if, like you said, if you put it over your what's the reasoning behind that threshold too? They're like, well, if you lift it up here, fine, totally fine, you're good, no yellow. But if you go up here, you're that sent off. Like, I don't know.
It makes no sense, man. I honestly try to go back and understand the reasoning behind it, and one could argue that a long celebration, like a lot of teams do, they do the little salsa, or they
why is that not a
sprinkler or whatever you want to do on the corner of the goalpost, or whatever it is that you want to do. It could take longer than you just take it off, put it back on. Like, is that okay if I just take it off, put it back on? It's not, because the rule says just don't take off your shirt. So it makes no sense, because like you mentioned, I don't understand the reason behind it. Like, if it's a delay, it doesn't necessarily mean that because you take your shirt off, you're delaying the game. I mean, you can grab the ball, take it all the way to the front, take off your shirt, put it back on, and is that a yellow? I mean, you know what? I just don't understand it. But the reality of it, and I thought that Brian was spot on last night and just said, look, regardless of whether Georgie's first yellow was ridiculous by all accounts.
Okay,
And-
can you explain that? Because I haven't seen the replay, but I didn't have an issue with it when I saw it live. It looked like to me like he trucked a guy, but I could be wrong. What happened?
Yeah, no, it's the inertia of the play. It's just it's a regular 50-50 ball, and the referee just thought that it was too aggressive, and that there was some recklessness. Obviously, not to the point of a red, but enough to a yellow. A guy that just came on the field, it made no sense to me.
What if your shirt said "Pro is awesome"?
There you go. I love the ref. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Referees are great. They probably
I
still
don't
would
know.
have just sent them off. No, I mean, it's really Christ is King. You wanted to tell everyone that Christ is King. And,
Yeah, I mean, if Jesus is king or whatever, it's not good enough, then I just don't get it. But the reality of it, is that it's a rule, and like I said, Brian, I thought was spot on that even if he didn't think the first yellow was a yellow, Georgie knew,
yeah,
and he should have known that putting your shirt over your head was yellow because it had just happened. And when Nuhu is the
peacemaker,
the voice of reason, and he's trying to get you back, and he's like, "Come on, man, just put your shirt down, come on," like that. That's crazy, right? So look, credit to Nuhu as well. I thought Nuhu had a very good game. I thought that he was great defensively. He had a lot of moments on offense, and keeping his cool. This was a physical, like I said, they did a good job muddying the game and slowing it down. And I thought he kept his cool for the entirety of the game. Not to mention going after Georgie to tell him to put down his shirt. So that's credit, that's growth. Good for Nuhu in that game.
Pat asks, catching up later, so sorry if this was already asked, but is Nico going to upload Brian's press conference? Normally uploaded pretty promptly to Sounders YouTube, but it's not there. Yeah, someone did mention that earlier, and I did a quick cursory check on if it was up, and I did not see it on the Sounders YouTube. I did not check the Leagues Cup YouTube. Maybe it's up there, but I would imagine it'll be up some point today. The proceedings last night did finish pretty late, although they usually get them up night of.
No,
so,
they put up all of the other interviews, which leads me to believe
I saw all the players.
They either forgot or they're not going to do it. And I wasn't at the game. Usually I would absolutely put it on immediately. I just was not at the game, so I didn't record it myself. However, I will go back after this show and try to download it through either Leagues Cup or elsewhere, and I will put it up on Pulso Sports. But yes, I wasn't at the game. Otherwise, it would have been up for sure.
Yeah,
great point though.
We weren't at the pressers either because we were streaming from the stadium, and that was a lot of tech to set up. But we actually pulled it off thanks to everyone who tuned into that. That's what we're going to try and do.
I got to check that out.
Yeah, they gave us a little broadcast booth that had been vacated. We just set it all up in there and let it rip way closer to final whistle than we're usually able to do for a home game where I have to take the bus home and stuff. It takes like an hour. So yeah, we're going to try and do that as the new protocol for home games, just so we can get these lives going as close to final whistle as possible. But last night was our first night setting that up, so we weren't able to stream the Zoom call or anything. But I'm proud of us just for figuring out the tech. Back to the game, Nico. Aside from the Georgie ejection, you did hit on two things that were at least my biggest takeaways, which Pauly Primetime, great to see him back out there. Bionic hand. He looked great. He looked like himself. He was cooking on that right side. I think that's something to like a notable takeaway, which is that with De La Vega kind of taking over on the left, like you can't really take him out of there right now. Paul has played mostly on that left side this year, and he's done very well at that. But it was good to see him look that effective and dangerous playing on the right. And it's just like the winger depth right now looks really good. Like you can kind of mix and match and plug anyone in, and it seems like they're in good form. They're going to be creating chances. They're going to be getting after it. So that was good. And then the Obed Danny Leyva double pivot, like how well that functioned. I thought I don't know if you noticed this, Nico, but I thought that Obed did a really good job of adjusting and adapting to sort of playing with a double pivot partner that has a bit of a different skill set than Christian. It felt like he was kind of taking over a lot of that dirty work, covering ground, playing defense, all the Christian rolled on staples. He was sort of gearing his game more towards that, as opposed to what he's been doing playing with Christian the last couple months, which is just like getting increasingly aggressive and audacious in attack, getting forward a lot, taking guys on. Like, he chilled out on that a little bit because I think it was necessary with it being a new partner in there with a different skill set. And then, like you said, man, Danny Leyva, stock up. Like, he was fantastic. His passing is just very good. I still think that playing him in a more advanced role could be something worth giving some run. But with JP still out for at least a few more weeks, I would imagine, just to know that you can plug Danny Leyva in at that spot. And I thought he was, like, all I would ask in that scenario theoretically is that he play like replacement level, not make any egregious mistakes, and just do his thing out there without getting run on. And not only did he do that, but he was an actively positive contributor to the attack. And he also was in the Cruz Azul game as well when he subbed on. So honestly, I think with the situation that they're in at that spot, and basically, having the best double pivot in the league, but then kind of it's up in the air behind that. You got Snyder Brunell in the mix now, who we were hoping would get a start, but it ends up being Danny Leyva. But good stuff from Danny. I love to see that. Nico, did you have anything to add to either of those or any other takeaways from this game?
No, you bring up a great point, which is that perhaps, we've been looking at it the wrong way, or maybe Brian, had a really good thought there to just kind of make Obed the Christian part of the pivot equation, and honestly didn't cross my mind necessarily. And I thought that he did well. Obviously, he has that ability to engage. He's a very good defender, probably more than he gets credit for. He does cover a whole lot of ground, and I thought him and Danny, they really fit in well. I mean, these guys have been playing with each other for a very long time. They know each other probably better than Christian and Obed necessarily do, outside of the field and within the field. But I was very pleased. I thought that, for all accounts, every single touch that I saw from Danny was very positive. I mean, there were a couple of times that he got dispossessed or a couple of bad balls, but I mean, overall, I thought that I was trying to find the stats for it because, I mean, I'm not a stat guy myself, but in the eye test, he looked very good. And stats-wise, it looked like he had 31 of 37 passes, 84% accuracy on it. He had 48 touches, 8 passes into the final third, which was a team high. 2 of 3 inaccurate crosses, 1 for 1 on accurate long balls. And defensively, I thought he was very good as well. He won 5 out of 5 ground duels during this game. So, man, credit to Danny Leyva, who per FUDMOB, he was the highest rated player. So, again, I don't necessarily do the stats. I'm trying to be better at it. I'm trying to balance myself out, diversify. I'm a, fill it in the gut. I've been watching it my whole life type of assessment guy for it. But, sometimes the numbers do help to kind of elevate or enlighten other components of it. And I thought that, Danny Leyva was arguably the best player on the field,
at least
statistically talking.
Yeah, at least for portions of it. So, that was great to see. Nico, let's just do a quick table check, both to, note where Seattle stands on it, which is very good standing, but also just kind of check out how other teams are doing and look at some of the other results and maybe potentially teams that Seattle's going to have to play if they do advance. It's not guaranteed that they're going to advance, but they are in literally like the best position to advance of any team in either league. We can look at the tiebreakers too. I know some people have been curious about that, and so there is that is posted on the league website. But let's look at the table first. Just a stock check, see what's going on. There you have it. These are the League's Cup standings. I'm going to try and zoom them in a little bit for you guys. So there you see it. Seattle number 1, 6 points, 2-0-0, and a +8. So yeah, like they are basically, Nico, the way I see it, like any result in this Club Tijuana game, and they're probably good. Like I think a draw probably does it, because I think a draw does do it, because you've got these. See, you got these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 teams right now scrapping it out to try and get into the top 4, all on 4 points. If Seattle gets a draw versus Tijuana, they'll be at 7. Inter Miami and Portland could jump them. But the likelihood that any like group of these teams win to tie Seattle on 7 and overtake their goals scored, which is the number 1 tiebreaker, and goal differential, which is the number 2 tiebreaker, that probably is not happening. Like that, it could happen, but it's extremely unlikely. So really, I don't think it's a play for a draw situation, but I think it does have to inform how you tackle this game a little bit, in that you don't necessarily need to be going for broke like immediately after kickoff. Like a lot of this group of 4-pointers right here, like they gotta play aggressive. They gotta get after it. They gotta try and score as many goals as they can. Seattle's not in that situation. They're in a situation where even a 0-0 probably gets you through, which I don't want to see that, because I want to see them keep this attack rolling. But no, I mean, they're in as good a position as they could possibly be in. You jump over to the Liga MX table here. Just let's just check in and see how they're doing, because like they only have, there's 2 teams that took all 6 points available so far on the MLS side. Portland and Seattle both have 6, and Liga MX, they got, Tigres is doing well so far. They're top of that table, and then no one else has taken all 6. I thought there was another team in there, but then it goes straight to Juarez, Mazatlan, Toluca, Pumas, all on 5. So yeah, like I said, guys, number one on the table so far. You can't do it up much better than that. And like the 7 spot versus Cruz Azul is actually significant here, because I'll pull up the tiebreakers now, just so they're out there, and people who might not know about them can know what's up with that. But while I pull that up, Nico, I mean, what I think the thing to talk about is sort of what I was getting at with, like, when you are number 1 on the table and you only need a draw to pretty much ensure that you finish in that top 4 and you advance. How much and to what degree does it change your tactics? Because I think to me, it's like you don't want to like park the bus, play for a draw, play for the 0-0. There's no reason to do that at home. But you got to be smart. You can't let anything crazy happen. You can't let the game get out of control and then have a situation where maybe you lose by like 2-3 goals, and then all of a sudden it gets dicier as to whether or not you keep that positioning to advance. So how do you sort of think that they should tackle this? Dish that take, and then I'm going to pull up these tiebreakers.
Yeah, no, I think that you need to lock it up and put in your best lineup, your best foot forward. Yeah. We'll talk about Xolos here in a little bit, but they had a very good game against Colorado. Going back to the tables, I think that there's a couple of things that stick out to me. One, Juarez is the Cinderella story there. They are second to last in Liga MX. They had a pretty tough sword of a group, and they have definitely came up to play. That Cincinnati game was remarkable, and what wasn't expecting them to get a result there. Portland, on the other end, I think that they also have been very interesting, just because they've gotten a couple of wins, but they haven't played great. Look, and I don't want to like crap on their parade, but it's just, look, San Luis and Querétaro is dead last, and them and Santos probably fighting for in terms of play as the worst teams. But regardless of, Santos still mid-table, and Querétaro is dead last, and then San Luis is not much farther up from Querétaro. So I just look at their play. They've had struggles. That first game that they won, it was literally 4
They went 4 for 4
chances on goal, and they won 4-0. And in this one, it was a struggle the entirety of the game, and that goal comes off a corner kick, which is all good and well. But I'm just saying that they just haven't been as dominant as perhaps the Sounders have been. So that's just interesting. And when you keep going down the line, you do have to credit Seattle for being able to manage these games, even when it gets dicey like it did against Santos Laguna, because there are going to be tactics that teams can do to just bring the game down to the same level. And they're, if anything, the Mexican teams are not afraid to win in bad tactics, or even if it doesn't look pretty, a win is a win. So I think that Seattle, for the way they've approached, the way they've been able to execute, the way they've been able to hold on, the way they've rotated, when you look back at this game, Kim Ki-hee had a very good game as well, coming in for Guillermo Gomez Andrade. We already talked about Paul Rothrock, George Manugu coming in. Osase came on. I thought he had a good shift when he came on. I personally still want to see, especially with how good Paul Rothrock was, I still want to see De La Vega on the left, Albert in the middle, Paul on the right, and Ferreira up top. I just want to see it. I just want to see it. I don't know if I will in the next game. Danny Musovsky, for all accounts, was trying really hard, but he wasn't very effective during the game. He got a couple of knocks, and there was that play that he creates the penalty on, but it was kind of a weird,
he should have first
sequence of events.
Yeah. He should have first
time did. You could talk about the first touch, a whole bunch of things that he could have done differently, but he kind of goes down. There's a PK that's called like in the second sequence where he gets the ball back, but the referee ends up saying that as he's fallen, by the way, slightly pulling the jersey was a bigger foul than the initial contact that Balanta gave him from the back as he enters the 18. So I thought it was terrible refereeing, for what it's worth. But at the end of the day, that's what happened. But Danny Musovsky, I thought he struggled. Therefore, I want to see Jesus Ferreira in that role. That's just me. I know, not a popular take, not a sexy take, but it's my take.
I mean, we talked about that on the last show, and that is something that it's not even about being like, oh, Ferreira is like for sure this great option at the number 9. It's about finding out. Like you need to know if that's something that you can go to in a pinch if you need to and feel good about it. So I understand like why they ran Moose in this game, and maybe it's something like when you do subs in the second half, like you slide them over. But I do want to see that get run. I thought Moose had a better game than people are saying, in the sense that he was getting in dangerous spots. And first of all, I do think you got to give him credit on the own goal as well, because it's his run that forces the CB to have to slide to cut that cross out. And if he doesn't do that, then Moose has a tap in. So it was a good run to contribute to that own goal. And then on the play where there was the crazy sequence where he got where he went down in the box and it looked like he got fouled like outside the box right before that, and they had to review it for 25 minutes and stuff. It's a really good run that he makes behind the defense to start off that whole thing. So yes, I think what he could have done differently there is when that second ball, like off the Rothrock touch, deflects to him, just rip it right there instead of taking that touch to try and get to it. I mean, it's one of those things that it's like, it's easy for us to sit here and be like, oh, just first time it, you probably have a goal there. When you're out there in the heat of the moment, and you take that touch and it doesn't go exactly how you want it, it's easier said than done. But I think if we're talking about like what he could have done to just not leave that up to the ref to make a call on PK one way or the other, when that falls to you, man, just hit it. You're right there. But at least like he was contributing to some of the danger that they were creating. So
yeah, for me, still has to, like, it goes to the decision making. It goes to he's very limited in the dribbling department, and I feel like a lot of times he to his credit, there's been a couple of times in this MLS season where he scored goals going right at defenders, and kind of dribbling into the 18. But at times I feel like he believes he's a lot faster than he really is, and then he catches up to him, and then he just doesn't look great. Also, when he plays to his back to goal, I just think like he struggles. He's a great poacher. I think he does put himself in good situations, and I get the nuance that Brian wants to exploit when it comes to what he does well for this system. But I still would rather have a good connector up there and a guy that could do a little bit more on the ball, specifically. But and let's say this: Ferreira is the offside leading scorer of the tournament. I mean, that dude just can't seem to miss when he comes to an outside position. So
it's everyone with that, man. That is one thing that if we're nitpicking, I'm not going to nitpick a win over a Liga MX opponent where you get a follower of Christ red card in the 75th minute that much. But like they have 9 goals in this tournament so far. If they literally just could stay on side, like the thing about all these, they've had like 4 or 5 offside goals so far. And the frustrating thing is, like, at least I feel like for most of them, they don't need to be offside. It's just if they just stay in position and time it up right, then these are goals. Like, it's not, but like there was a couple. The one that Ferreira hit, and then
the Albert Rusnak.
Oh God, that I wanted that one. That was such a sick finish by Rusnak. That deserved a goal. Yeah, and that ball from Rothrock on that one was incredible. That sucked. Just because it was.
Yeah, and that's a little bit of, if Nuhu, instead of putting the ball to Paul, swings the ball across directly to Albert, that's a goal. And there's no doubt about that. Now, that goes to your point of, it's very easy for me sitting on this chair and last night sitting on the couch with my dog on my lap, that say, oh man, how did Nuhu not see Albert? Or why did Nuhu didn't make that ball through? But that's kind of the little things that you're mentioning in terms of the offsides, and that have cost Seattle a couple of goals. But again, I do like the approach, and Brian responded about it. His response about it last night was very good. He said he just talks about our intent to attack and our intent to make runs and our intent to be in certain positions. So he is going a positive route on that. I think that the team has looked aggressive offensively, and I'd rather have that. But it is something to perfect.
Yeah, I agree with what Wade is saying here. In principle, don't see a problem with the offsides as much. Coach put it perfectly, means we're trying to get in scoring position. And I definitely think that it is like an indication that you are making good runs, you're putting yourselves in dangerous positions. So I don't mind an offside goal here and there, or even like a few of them, but to me it is frustrating when you have situations like the Rothrock one and a couple of these other ones where it's just like it's unnecessary. Sometimes the goal gets created because of the advantage that you get right from being offside. A few of these, it's not like that. Like, it's like that should just be a clean goal if you literally just start your run 0.6 seconds later, So hopefully that's something that I'm hoping we see get cleaned up a little bit, just because it's like, man, like imagine what this offense would look like if they would stayed on side for a couple of these. They would, and that game could have been way more comfortable. There were a couple, like the Ferreira one in the second half where he was way off, and then number 9 Jackson Reagan also got played in over the top at one point, and was he was looking like Moose out there, I guess, and then he was just way offside. So
yeah,
that was a fun
credit, man. He put that in.
Yeah, watching Jackson just like,
I'm pretty sure he had like a nice little back heel flick too, like right after that or something like that. But yeah, he was out there. He was trying in that final third. So that was good. I also, before we move on, I do want to talk about a couple of concepts that I think continue to work quite well for the Sounders. I thought that their press was unreal yesterday.
It's been for the last
no idea.
Weeks. Yeah.
Santos Laguna had no idea what to do. They were panicking. They were just throwing the ball. They were they didn't know how to handle the pressure, and it was very effective, and everybody was moving so adequately, and they were picking up the ball where they needed to. And it's the first line of press, and then is the guys behind closing those passing channels and getting those initial balls, and then being positive with that first touch once Seattle gets the ball, not recycling, not pushing it back. No, just we're gonna get it. We're gonna make the first pass an aggressive pass forward. I thought that was very good. I thought that Jose Abella was the most frustrated guy in the planet. He cried the entire game. If it wasn't because of Nuhu's presence and the physicalness part of it, it was the pressing and it was to his guys. This game went so bad that Kevin Balanta ends up fighting Franco Fagundes at the end of the game. I don't know if you saw that from the press box.
Okay, I saw that. I didn't see it from the press box, but when I was watching the highlights, I saw on the broadcast that they were getting in each other's faces after the game. Did you see more to that? Literally all I saw was like a tiny clip that I think the Sounders video team included intentionally after the final whistle, where he went up to his own teammate and was like getting in his face. Was there more to that on the broadcast? And did you know why?
No, that was it. But I mean, it was obviously a bad decision and a bad look for the team, because he just talks about the disarray the Santos Laguna is. But I kind of understand where Fagundes is coming from. I mean, they just got a goal by Christian Dajome. That there's seconds left, if not, a minute or seconds left. And the first touch from Balanta, rather than just putting it all the way across to try to win a secondary ball, or just getting it forward to keep the time rolling, keep the referee from blowing that whistle, he goes sideways, and they continue to pass, and that was his frustration. And Kevin Balanta obviously,
that makes sense.
Kevin Balanta obviously just like and then they just start going at each other. But yeah, it was very interesting part of the game.
That was funny. Anytime you get the other team crashing out at each other, that's what I'd like to see. I had one more thing before we get to what you mentioned about the press. Yeah, it was really good again in this game. It's been fantastic for the last few weeks, and I think it's kind of an under-discussed aspect of why the attack is playing so well and producing so many goals right now. They're just on it. They are forcing teams into losing possession, making mistakes, and getting really good high leverage, high quality transition opportunities by working hard on defense. I think Schmetz has got to be loving it, because that's Schmetzer ball to a T. Like, dogs on defense every single time you have a team knocking the ball. Like, you time your triggers up that send you at the guy, and then you put these guys under pressure and you make them play out of it. Some teams are going to be able to do that, and maybe you have to be less aggressive with it. Right now, it doesn't seem like anyone they're playing is dealing with that pressure that well. And that is, I really think that's given them a few of these goals, like just the work that they're doing on defense and pressing the opponents, putting them under pressure, winning the ball, getting out in transition, and then just cooking on the counter. It's been great to watch, and it's a very, that is something. Sometimes you score a goal that's like out of nowhere, or maybe low percentage, not that repeatable. Like these De La Vega bangers come to mind, although those are high percentage for him. But you can't live like that week in, week out. You're not going to get a crazy Golazo every single week. You're definitely not going to get one of the best goals I've ever seen every single week. So repeatable stuff, like how you're executing in transition, how you're pressing, how you're winning the ball, where you're winning the ball. Those are things that translate week over week. So that's another encouraging thing, is that aspect of the game, especially in the first half, I thought looked really good again. Nico, any thoughts on anything related to that? And then I'll pull up these tiebreakers.
Yeah, I thought that even though Pedro La Vega was not as brilliant and not as a magnet on the ball as he usually is, a lot of it's because they were going on the right side for a majority of the game, and I think that they were exposing Gutierrez on that side consistently. They did a good job at it. I thought that defensively, he had 5 or 6 defensive recoveries. I thought that he pressured well. I thought that, you know, he was putting in the effort in that regard. But it all goes back to just the system. The system overall, it's looking more and more effective and more and more in sync. And I think that's going to be a huge weapon for the Sounders moving forward. Effective press and being able to create chances just it amplifies the amount of chances that you get. So it's something that I think with the right guys on the field, it's going to be an elite weapon for the Sounders.
You have to give credit to the attackers for that. De La Vega has been working hard. He's been on it. I think that's kind of, for me, been an unexpected benefit of Jesus Ferreira. I never considered him when he was on FC Dallas as like this super prominent two-way threat. I kind of figured he was just more of a pure attacker who I mean, I never heard him criticized for being bad on defense, but this guy is like, he never stops running. He's pressing, he's getting after it in his 1v1s. So he if you're wondering why he's like a first choice starter on this team, outside of the fact that he's actually been providing final product and getting on the stat sheet lately, it's because like Schmetz is always going to play a guy who works that hard, who runs that much, and who gets after it on defense. And like Ferreira, man, he got some like Paul Rothrock in him with that. Like he gets after it. So that was good to see as well. I'm gonna pull up the tiebreakers now. Just to I've had a lot of people ask me about this, and so let's just get this out there so everyone knows the situation. Inform the population. Phase 1 tiebreakers right here. Here it is, guys. All right. You got 6 of them. If clubs are level on points with their phase 1 matches, the following tiebreakers in descending order will be implemented to determine who reaches the knockout rounds. So the first one is wins in regular time. So Seattle already has 2 of those, and they're one of 2 teams with 2 of those. So the everyone else only has 1 win. So they can't lose that tiebreaker to anyone who's below the top 2 spots on the table right now, even if they lose the Tijuana game. So they're in good shape for that one. And then the number 2 one is goal differential, okay, which is notably quite good right now. It's at a +8. That's the benefit of hanging the 7th spot, is you put yourself in a great position for that tiebreaker. Then it goes to most goals scored, which they are also leading the tournament in, right? So also in good shape there. You want to put a couple more past Tijuana to really solidify that, but they've set themselves up nicely for that one. Fewest goals conceded. They've conceded 1 across 2 games. So we'll see where that ends. And it would have been nice if they conceded it at the very freaking end of this game. So they could have been.
Still looks good.
I mean, yeah, like 1 goal across 2 games is that's fine. And it also is, as far as a theoretical tiebreaker scenario goes, if they are able to maintain that, they should be in relatively good shape there. Fewest, and then we've got the fair play table, which is it's got it defined here: points-based system on which the number of yellow and red cards is counted for players and members of the technical staff. That one, maybe not as good a shape. They did get a Christ following red card in this last game. So I think a Christ red card, that shouldn't diminish your standing on the fair play table, but it's probably going to. And then if you're still tied past that, it's a draw organized by Leagues Cup, which that would be pretty fun content. I don't know if they would stream that or if we would just have to take their word on how that went. I kind of hope someone has to find out if they advance or not through a Leagues Cup organized draw. But the point being, I mean, here, like, this is just the stuff you got to think about as far as based on the result of this next game, what the tiebreakers could look like. I mean, they are in phenomenal shape on 1 through 4 of those. So it's really like, at this point, they are in a situation, Nico, where you just got to take care of business in this next game. Literally, like, all you need is a draw, but like, go out there, try and beat Club Tijuana, which I think that is a good segue, because Seattle so far has played what is supposedly, I mean, not even supposedly, they played the best team from Mexico, the reigning CONCACAF Champions Cup title winners and a team, spent $50+ million over the last year or two building what was supposed to be the most powerful roster in CONCACAF. They 7-0'd that team. Then they played one of the worst teams. I think I don't care because it's tournament play and it's a win is a win, but that Santos team, they should have beat worse. That team is very not good. Their offense was a mess in this game. They got their first shot on target in the 88th minute type thing. So
yeah,
honestly, the fact that Seattle gave up a goal to them and didn't beat them by multiple goals is the only minorly tilting thing. But I'm not even tilted about it. It's fine. But now they have Nico, what can you tell us about Club Tijuana, on the scale of quality between Cruz Azul, one of the best teams, and Santos, one of the worst teams? Where do you see them? Where do they fall?
Before that, I just want to add that, that's the beauty of soccer, right? That it's not linear, and it's not, just because you beat the best team doesn't mean you're going to, by a lot of goals, doesn't mean you're going to beat a worse team for more goals. That we're not going to put 8 or 10 on Santos Laguna. It was definitely a performance that I thought Santos Laguna did a good job at just doing their best to stay in the game as long as they could. Offensively, they were going to be limited, and that's what they were trying so hard to get set pieces, because that was going to be their only way to score. And I said this in the pregame that you and I did, is just that set pieces was going to be the one and only way that they were going to try to get in this game. So credit to Seattle for holding on to that, but that's the reason why. Now, Xolos de Tijuana, they're a better team. And I said it last time. They're a full step in front of Santos Laguna.
Okay.
Mainly because I think offensively they could do a lot more. They don't need the ball in possession. If you look at the Colorado game, that's a prime example of what Xolos can do. They win that game 2-1 with 40% possession, but they create 20 shots, 9 on goal. They're a team that is very good in transition. That I always like to give little nuggets of information that I find interesting in the Xolos department or team. Sebastián El Loco Abreu, the crazy Abreu, he's the coach for Xolos de Tijuana. He's known for having a record, I'm pretty sure, of in his playing career, playing for 31 teams in his career. He retired at the age of 44. So that's pretty interesting, because as a coach since 2019 he's been in 7 teams, so he's kind of new. He is a coach that's definitely trying to stabilize and find a place, but he has a lot of character. He might not be a tactician genius, but I think he's a great motivator. He gets his teams going. He's done a lot with this Xolos team as of right now, putting him mid of the table with a 16-year-old Hiberio Mora. That's the great feature of this team. I think that they do defend very well, and they structure a lot better, and their counterplay makes them pretty dangerous, and specifically on set pieces. They have a lot of big bodies. They're a team that can definitely find a corner or a free kick in which whether it is Poroso, the center back, or Blanco or Nicholson, they have a lot of very athletic guys that can go up there and get the ball. So they're a team that I think Seattle's going to want to, from the very beginning, the first 45 minutes, really set the tempo on, really try to score early on, just so they can manage the game and they can force Xolos to just open up a little bit. So I think that the first goal for Seattle is going to be crucial to kind of control this game a lot better.
The LA Galaxy did hang 5 on this team, so they can be scored on. So
yes, but I'm pretty sure that they got a red card early in that game. I want to say
maybe that was it.
Was it? Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe that's another game. No, but you're right. No, I mean they did put 5 on them. It was an early penalty kick on Tijuana. I had the notes on that game. For some reason, I thought they got carded on But yeah, no, you're right. I mean, obviously, that's kind of part of what I said, right? If you score early in the 17th minute, you kind of force the team to kind of get out and not play it so on the counter. And I think that's going to be important. And you might see this team play a lot more like they played against LA Galaxy than what they did against Colorado. They were playing in altitude. I think that they played a lot more conservative. I think against the LA Galaxy, they opened up a little bit. So that might work to Seattle's advantage. Another important thing about Xolos is that they actually play on turf. Estadio Caliente is known for being one of the few places in Mexico that plays in turf. They actually just got new turf like in 2024, but they are very accustomed to playing in artificial surfaces. So I think that's going to play to their advantage as well compared to the other two teams.
What do you think of Hiberio Mora? He's kind of all the rage right now in Mexico, and Noah and I were talking about him. Like, I think it's pretty merited. Like, it's not just delusional hype or like putting something on a kid that's doesn't have a good chance at living up to it. I mean, when I watch him play, we all saw the goal that he scored in the All-Star game, and then also, you know, watching the Gold Cup a little bit as I did, it was very impressive how playing, you know, he's 16, playing at the international level in a tournament, like, you know, big CONCACAF tournament like the Gold Cup. He was balling. Like, he was not just blending in, he was standing out. He's scoring goals, and I'm looking forward to seeing Seattle like get to play a prodigy type player of a rising profile like this. Like, that's always interesting to see how they're going to do. And then also there's the subplot of he and Obed kind of going against each other, and Obed also being considered in that tier of up and coming young players who could be future building blocks for El Tri. Like, what do you think of this kid? Is he for real, and what can we expect to see from him in this game?
He's the real deal. I know from I had heard of him early when Oscar Osorio was still the head coach down there, and he is a player that, for all metrics, for all purposes of being a great prospect, kind of broke the mold for Liga MX, because they're unfortunately one of the stigmas of that league is that even when Mexico has championship and very good performances at the youth national team level, there's usually a really hard time for those players to get into starting lineups and get into a lot of minutes. And he's been the anomaly, and has done very well. And his vision is how he glides on the ball, his field awareness, his confidence. He can shoot it from anywhere. He's not afraid to shoot it from anywhere. He's a guy that at 16 years old is taking set pieces for shows at Tijuana. I mean, he's a guy that at his age, you can tell he plays way beyond his years, to the point that he is without a doubt going to be moving on from shows, I think, quite soon. He's in the exact same category as people are putting Kevin Sullivan on, right? I mean, it's that type of young player. You know, now he's in.
He's doing way better than Sullivan, though. Like, he's actually
exactly 100%, because they obviously went early on him, and I think that this guy could very easily. He's been compared to Pedri, to Iniesta. They've called him the Mexican, every name that you could possibly think of. But I do believe that there is a lot of potential to this kid. Now, you do got to be careful on making sure that he stays grounded and that he continues to progress. There's been a lot of situations with young players in Mexico, not that young, but young, that they have gone to Europe, burned out, and came back. Linus is who's plays for Tigres now. Again, he's a perfect example of a young, very talented player for America then, that just left to Europe a little bit too soon, couldn't quite make it, and then was back. So, but I do believe that he is an excellent talent, and I think that you're going to see it here firsthand. He's probably going to be a player that's going to draw a lot of neutrals to this game, because he is a sight to see.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to like getting to watch him play in in person. We got James coming in with the first super chat of the show. Thank you, James.
Let's go,
Appreciate
James.
$1. And it is a well-timed one because this was the last topic I wanted to hit with you, Nico, which is Noah Ohio, as reported by Sounder at Heart. That deal has fallen through. The player does not want to come to Major League Soccer. James is asking, after the Ohio collapse, do you think a U22 still happens? Before you get into that, Nico, I mean, we talked about it a little bit on the post-game live last night, but as far as like how and why this deal fell through and the implications of it and stuff, I mean, what was reported is that his agent was encouraging him to do it. He said, this is a good move for your career right now, and you can get your stock up. I don't know what argument he made, but his agent was telling him to do it. And it was Noah Ohio himself who decided, like, no, I want to keep the Euro dream alive. I want to stay in the Eredivisie and play off the bench, which I'm not even clowning on him. Like, that's his prerogative. It's his career. But like, I don't think I would not want him to come here if he's not all in, if he's not fully bought in and wanting to really like make his mark with this team and not just think of it as like, oh, like I'm using this to get to like, that's where you get issues with buy-in and motivation in that stuff. So if that's the way that he personally feels, I'm not sure if there's anything Seattle could have done about it, because that's just like what he wants for his career. But B, like, I would much rather not have him on the team if that's like how he feels, which he's entitled to feel that way. Like I said, it's his career. But so Nico, I guess first your take on just that the deal did fall through and no, Ohio will not be a Seattle Sounder, and then also like what's up with the U22 search now? Like, are they still going to sign a guy? Are they talking to other targets? What's up with that?
Yeah. So as of Saturday, I talked to Jeremiah firsthand, and he mentioned the context behind what he reported. And yes, it was just the player's decision. I went ahead and made some calls, and the only thing that I would add to what you mentioned is that from his camp, there was also some concern that he hasn't really solidified himself in any specific team. And in Utrecht, he's found a home. He's loved by the fans. He's struggling to get minutes, but he almost wants the challenge of just staying in one place for a longer time. And that's a valid point. That's a fair decision and a fair, kind of theory behind why you want to stay somewhere. So obviously, Eredivisie is also a phenomenal league and one that can develop you and help you grow. And when you are making the decision to move to MLS, I feel like you have to be bought on. You have to almost be certain that you're going to get a lot of play time, because you don't want to move somewhere where maybe you feel like you're not getting the same development or the same exposure or showcase to whoever's perspective and subjective to that opinion, and not get a lot of playtime. So I think there was a lot of components that didn't make this happen, and they move on. They absolutely are looking for other U22 strikers, because I know that I get a lot of questions whether it's just a striker or other positions. Striker is where they've been looking at. It's where they are looking at. They have actually taking some names off their list, some because they've been already bought out, and others because maybe they didn't fit the profile. They definitely want a guy that has a specific profile of a striker. They want a Jordan Morris-like type of player, and that at times can get misconstrued by numbers. A lot of the database that they use at times will send you to a player, you go and you see him play, and you realize that specific striker is more of a false nine, or is more of a secondary striker that needs another striker to be next to him. So I think that the scouting department and Craig Weibel have done a good job at putting together a group of players that fit the profile that they want. They haven't settled for anybody. They haven't settled for the wrong profile, or a player that might be too young, which has been a reoccurring and very a standardized reason why some players have not been taken for that position. So to me, I've always said that as much as fans don't want to hear it, sometimes panic buying is more detrimental to a club than not buying at all. I'm not saying, hold on, I'm not saying that I think that this team should not go out there and get somebody. They should be mindful, they should be careful, but they should absolutely go and get somebody. Now, the other thing that continues to be true is the budget, right? I mean, if you're going to go down to South America and you want to get yourself a top prospect like Nacimiento, you're going to have to come out of pocket for it. If you decide that you want to go after a guy like Segovia, you're going to have to come out of pocket, especially when you don't have other elements like the big city market or Lionel Messi sitting on your bench. Seattle has a lot of obstacles to go through to kind of sell that young player into coming to MLS, to come into the Seattle Sounders, not to mention the fact that you're already at a disadvantage when you sit on the negotiating table with a limited budget. So the search is on. I have a good idea of a couple of players that are still on the list, some that have been vacated from it, but some that are still pretty present. So we'll stay on it and hopefully get you guys a new report through Sounder or Heart, of course. And so just sit and wait.
Michael Pogson coming in with the 20 bomb super sticker. Hell yeah. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate that. That's big time.
Michael, what do you want, man? Let me know. What's up? What you want to know? What's up?
All right. I had one more topic that I wanted to hit, but I can't even remember what it was. So I think we could start the wrap up process for this episode, Nico. I guess,
man. Look, what I would say is, I don't know if you want to do the lineup grapher, but I think that you're going to get
let's do it.
You're going to get a lineup closer to the main or the best 11. I think that you're going to absolutely 100% need Nuhu in this game. I'm telling you that the athletic ability of some of these attackers for a Xolos team that, for all accounts, is not very good. They get moving, man. They really push the line. I thought that Vintino was good against Colorado. I like a guy like Adonios Preciado, the Ecuadorian. He's very, very good, very quick, very fast. And Nicholson, man. I mean, anybody who watches CONCACAF knows about, Jamaican striker Nicholson. So this is a team that can really move the ball quickly when they want to. They're very direct, and they're not afraid to play with the knife on their teeth, right? And they're gonna concede possession, but they're gonna stay on the front foot when they do get the ball. So it's gonna be interesting how Seattle manages. I still believe that Seattle has every weapon, every metric on their side, and they should be the favorite going into this game. But Xolos just showed Colorado at home in elevation that sometimes that means absolutely nothing.
I think the FOT mob default here this might be exactly how they run it. That's the first choice back line, first choice double pivot, De La Vega on the left, Ferrer on the right, Rusnak at the 10, Moose up top. Like, do you have any amendments to that? Because I don't. I think that's how they're going to run it.
Like, no, I think that's how they're going to run it.
And I think
exactly how they're going to run it.
I think that's how they should run it. Like, you are in phenomenal position to advance, and it's up to you to take advantage of that. So you can't mess around. Like, you got to just put your big dogs out there, try and just get this thing settled as early as you can. Like, if you can pump a couple past them in the first half, then you're probably chilling. Like, you're probably good. So this is not a scenario where I want like Christian to rest or like them to be experimenting or mixing and matching. Like, nah, like, you go for it here. You try and get on them early and just like get this whole advancing thing out of the way, stress free, which would be nice. They've done great work to put themselves in a position where advancing is right there, and it's just on them to take care of business. They don't need help from anyone else. They don't need outside factors right now. You take care of your own business. You go through. You got a shot at the trophy.
I would say that the only one that I might be not 100% on might be Musovski. He, if he's fit, that's going to be the lineup. but he took a lot of punishment there at the end. He was hit a lot. He's had some issues with his hip before. I think that if anything, I would do Ferreira and
I see. I put
and
Osaze.
Paul Rothrock. That would be the only.
Let's do that. I know
lineup change.
Some people
have.
aren't going to like it. Some people aren't going to like it. But Nico and I are in favor of this, so we're going to do it.
You could put it on me, man. Put it all on me.
I would want to see this, but like honestly, for this game, assuming that you have Moose available, that's how I would run it. And I mean, it seems like Schmetz isn't quite there as far as like starting Osaze in a game like this. He's gotten to where he doesn't have an issue playing him, that's step one. But I would be pretty surprised if Osaze were to start like a game where advancement is on the line. I don't think that you're going to see KKR for Alex. I think
No.
I mean, Alex is in fantastic form right now,
Yes, he is.
and he's also the one that Schmetz like trusts in scenarios like this more than anyone. So
he's been incredibly physical. I really do think that Alex is one guy that also for this Liga MX games, he really lifts that level. I don't know if it's his time with El Salvador or what it is, but when he comes to those Liga MX teams, he is more physical than he even is at the MLS level. Uses his body very well. I thought that he's been excellent moving forward. He's been very good in those inside channels whenever he has to. He's part of the helping press. He's part of the helping out of the build out. So yeah, man, I think that Alex has done a very good job, and that's a credit to Albert. We didn't mention him. He's been kind of on the quiet scale because he doesn't get on the stat sheet, but I thought he was very, very good on connectivity.
He should have had that
extremely
goal.
accurate on the passes. That goal would have been phenomenal, right? I mean, he's right at the right place, right time. I continue to think that he's, and the stats showed it. If you need to see it, go to Jeremiah's Blue Sky, where he looks at the difference between 2024 Albert and 2025. He's just so much more aggressive on his shots. He's dribbling. He's helped out so much on the build out too. He's catching the ball deep and then just making those long strides whenever there is that opportunity to get a guy behind the back line. So Albert's another guy that maybe we haven't talked about enough, but this is going to be a good game. And I think Seattle's going to take it very seriously. They're going to lock it in and they're going to put their best foot forward. And if they can manage it, again, I think that is going to be a very important component for Seattle to strike early to get that first goal, just so they can manage the rest of the game. But it's going to be interesting.
I like this agenda from Jerome. Alex Roldan, Defender of the Year contender. I didn't say it, but I feel like in the last few weeks, he's James mentioned it as well. Like the competition with KKR has like elevated Alex's game. We've talked about it a lot this year. I don't think he's been like consistently at this type of level all season to like be in that conversation for right now.
I like the show. I do like the show, but I think
he is the last like 3-4 weeks. I mean, I don't know about Defender of the Year, but he has been at like a best 11 fullback level. I think like
Defender of the last 2 months. Ever since he's even had to try at center back, I think that we could leave it at that. Maybe Defender of the Month, but he's been very good and he's trending in the right direction, and that's all that you want moving into the more crucial part of both domestic play and Leagues Cup.
All right, Nico, I got to get out of here on that. Great episode of Lobbing Scorchers Kickoff. Thanks for hopping on as always to start off the week here. If everyone still watching in chat, like the video, sub
share
to the
channel.
Content.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
subscribe.
Share, like, comment, subscribe, write reviews. I don't know. What am I missing? What do we need to shill here? I think that's it.
Get some Hex on hot sauce.
Yeah. LobbingScorchers.com/sauce. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was looking for. Good shout. We'll be back at it. What day is this game, Nico? I can't even remember.
It's Wednesday. I believe 7:30.
Game on Wednesday. So I think we're gonna aim to put a pod out tomorrow. But
8 o'clock game. Wow, it's gonna be a late one.
Oh, that'll be a late one. We'll try and fire up the late night post game live from the stadium again. I thought that worked pretty well. So we will. The train keeps rolling. We'll see you guys this week. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will catch you for Leagues Cup Phase 1 finale. Peace.
Some people come to Lumen Field for the tactics, for the soccer, the atmosphere, and some come for Paul Rothrock's hair. Me personally, I come for both, because I have agendas to push. Live soccer isn't just better, it's way more personal. From making friends to becoming the guy in your section that's just constantly yelling about advanced statistics. Get tickets to any Sounders match by visiting lobbingscorchers.com/tickets. You support the pod, our agendas, the vibes, and the chaos.